Story 1. This one is geared towards women and young ladies. It's okay to want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I urge you to still get an education and work experience under your belt. I've seen it time after time where 1. She wants to get out of a bad marriage but feels stuck. 2. Her husband gets sick or injured and can't work. 3. Her husband gets laid off and she wants to help. 4. Her husband passes away unexpectedly, and they have no work experience or education and don't know where to start. Story 2. 1. How to make and maintain a budget. 2. How to shop for groceries. Sounds odd, but knowing how to navigate the store and find the best deals is a way to save money. 3. What taxes are and how to file them. I mean, I could go on, but just all the adulting stuff that school has failed to actually teach. Story 3. How to carry on if something is not fun or boring. Even the best job in the world has downtime. Your dream job won't be how you imagine it being all the time. There will be paperwork, and there will be hurrying just to wait. Oh, and there will be people that are just jerks no matter what. You have to work and live with these people. Story 4. Cooking. Everyone should learn to cook for themselves. It's such a good life skill to have. For all those who drive, learn to check your vehicle's oil and tire pressure regularly. And even if you're considered gifted and don't have to study, please try to learn to study anyway. Can help in work or further education. Story 5. Learn how to manage their stress and anxiety because they are inseparable parts of life. The sooner they learn how to handle it, the better it is, and they will be able to take control of their lives once they are in their 20s because that is when life gets serious. Story 6. Learning basic car maintenance when you first start driving can make your entire life easier. Since a car is most people's first big purchase, it can go a long way in prolonging the life and understanding the value of taking care of things. Story 7. Don't rely too much on other people. Understand that what you can realistically obtain and what you have always dreamed aren't necessarily the same thing, and that's okay. Regular exercise. Save money. Story 8. Work on social skills. Try to talk to different people. Loneliness is an epidemic, and no matter how hard you try not to, everyone will experience loneliness. The longest and best friends that I have now are the friendships that were founded in my 20s from university, work, parties, dinners, activities, online meetups, hobbies, friends of friends, and social media. Having them on social media helps stay connected. People get too caught up in their comfort zones and keep focusing on being introverted. Just because you're introverted doesn't mean you can't be social. Something that needs work. I found someone I looked up to who could talk to anyone, and I observed and knew that I could and wanted to be more like that in my own way. I didn't want to be boring anymore. I could then adapt, talk more with quiet ones, talk less with loud ones. Doing the hard work now to learn and push through discomfort makes it easier later on in life. When you are old and don't have your health, or if you sit anywhere with nothing else at hand, all you have is your memories, emotions, and thoughts. This shows how much your relationships around you are so important. Each encounter you experience will help you grow without you realizing. You will get to know yourself better. And that is the journey of life. Story 9. Sunscreen. The sun feels awesome, and suntans are the best. Until your dermatologist has to freeze, cut, or scrape off skin cancer. Protect yourself early. That's when the damage starts. Story 10. Critical thinking, emotional regulation, budgeting, tax filing, basic nutrition, and probably a course in common mental disorders. As someone who was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder at 31, this would have helped to know in my teens and 20s. Story 11. How to seriously and effectively communicate. The adult world is filled with weak communicators who cannot explain their work or how to do things to others in a way that others can then do themselves. Perhaps most importantly, when asked to do something against your values, having the language to tell your boss or authority no without triggering emotions or backlash is crucial. The fact of the matter is, a super communicator can talk their way out of negative experiences and make sense to unreasonable people, including bullies. We are a social species, and our communication skill is one of our most powerful abilities, if developed. Seriously look around your life and observe those with better communication skills getting their way. This is not hard. You just need to start studying how to communicate, and you will be amazed at the doors you never realized were there, open to good communicators. People and companies desperately want good communicators because they are the glue that prevents weak communicators from failing. Story 12. Just turned 18? Banks offering you a credit card? Say no until you're a bit older. I've seen far too many friends lose half their 20s to credit card debt from 18 to 20. Also, do not get loans. Studying is fine, but getting loans while you're 18 to 20, if you're not working and haven't learned about finances properly from parents or schooling, can get you into quite a bit of trouble. Usually car loans with high interest rates. Do not let your parents fool you into financing things for them. This ruined one of my friends aged 20 to 25. He came from a larger islander family with 7 kids and no dad. His mother asked him to finance the family a new lounge suite. Then the mother asked the oldest sons to finance a car. I know this isn't very common, but it's definitely something young people need to learn. If possible, take a short finance or money management course as soon as possible. It is shocking that our curriculum doesn't teach finance to high school students. Story 13. Don't overspend and run up credit cards. I am 32 and still feeling the effects of stupid spending in my late teens and early 20s. The other one is to avoid nicotine. It is not worth any of the perceived benefits. Quitting smoking, vaping, or using dip is the hardest thing I've had to do. Story 14. People from older generations like to say that your early years are for experimenting. That's because it was true when they were kids 20 years ago. You could stumble through life achieving nothing of note while still acquiring a home and supporting a family. You need to get your act together now, focus, and try really hard until you're around 24 or 25. That's when you get to start enjoying the rest of your life on easy mode. Story 15. Have accountability and a sense of responsibility. No matter if it is a small job, do it and do it well. If you do not know how to do it, have no shame in asking. Caring about the things you are tasked with is not embarrassing, and it helps you build legitimacy and earn respect from your peers. Those are 2 things that will carry on with value for the rest of your life. Story 16. How the world actually works versus how institutions and delusional ideological echo chambers want them to think it works. Accept the realities of society early, and you won't be a victim to ruthless and very real psychopaths, sociopaths, and Machiavellian types later on. Story 17. Slow down. Delay gratification in all areas. Choose your friends and partner wisely. Your circle of friends will diminish significantly. If you are the smartest person in the group, find another group. No one is required to save you from your individual problems. Story 18. Learning to budget and manage money early made my 20s so much smoother. Also, basic cooking skills saved me tons on takeout and taught me healthier eating habits. Embrace failure. It is a stepping stone, not the end. Story 19. If you are going to start driving, pay attention to how to go to the places you want to go in your final years and months as a passenger. It makes driving easier when you are not suddenly lost on the way to Target. Story 20. I truly think financial literacy is the most important. Some kids are lucky enough to have their parents take care of a lot of finances until they graduate from college. But for most kids, you don't know how to manage your finances, and you don't have people at home to teach you either. My mom got married at 16 and never worked a real job. She almost lost our house multiple times growing up because she acted frivolously and trusted the wrong people. My aunt had over 20 credit cards and eventually ended up having to move in with my family when I was 16. I would have benefited so much from a class that taught how to handle your money and explained credit and how to best use it to your advantage, retirement plans, and investing and all of that, because I've been learning on the fly, but it's a lot. Story 21. Besides money management, I feel like a foundation of basics like cooking basic meals, meal prepping, or freezing leftovers for another day is essential. Learning how to fix basic things or perform basic maintenance tasks, like changing your car's oil, is important. It's also useful to understand what certain medicines are for or to know some simple home remedies. Story 22. I just learned how to bake desserts at 25 and realized I have been resorting to the, "Oh, I would mess it up completely. I won't bother" mindset. My advice is to challenge the "I'll mess it up" mindset and embrace the learning curve. It is weird and sometimes feels embarrassing, but I promise you would rather develop that as a teenager. Story 23. The 20s are a great time to get wants off your list. Most people live to get older and desires evolve over time. If there is something a young person wants to try, consider doing it before your life picks up. It is honestly the most methodical way to be able to put an earlier focus on retirement, career, investing, family, and so on. Story 24. Teenagers should learn not to think everything is fixed or ruined forever. So you passed the first test of the semester. It doesn't mean you can disregard your studies for the next 6 weeks. So one person rejected you. It doesn't mean you'll be lonely forever. So you're skinny now. It doesn't mean you can eat and drink whatever you want indefinitely. So you're overweight and you've struggled with the last 5 diets. It doesn't mean you'll always fail and remain overweight. And so on. All the time you spend in a dream world because something just went well or poorly is time wasted that you could have spent doing favors for yourself. Story 25. Teenagers should start learning financial literacy, budgeting, saving, and understanding credit. It is a skill that can make a huge difference in their 20s and 30s, setting them up for less stress and more freedom. Story 26. Learn to listen to yourself, follow your dreams, learn to build the right connections with people, and hang on to them for professional and social gains. Make a start at building your own path. Story 27. Never too young to get in shape and take care of your health. The more you do early on, the easier it will be to establish and keep the habit. And you will start at a better place for the inevitable decline. Story 28. Forget all this practical stuff. Do as many things that scare you as possible. Travel, ask that girl out, start a fight, steal something, sit with yourself, tell your mom, dad, or sibling to go away, try new experiences, apply for a job, eat something out of the ordinary, ask for help, cry, laugh, try, give up, start again, tell your best friend the truth, lie, borrow, beg, steal, but do it on purpose. Story 29. What you put in your body, diet. What you do with your body, health and exercise. How you see yourself, mental and emotional health. Where you see yourself, future and finances. What you value, career, passions, and hobbies. Read positivity from situations you are unsure of. It is better to have faith and a good outlook than negativity and a defeatist attitude. People like to help, so don't be afraid to ask for it. Be humble, be brave. Story 30. Safe sex. Especially since abortion may become completely illegal in the United States, make sure that if you're having a child, it's because you want to and are ready, not because you didn't use protection. Story 31. 1. Manage money. Budget, save, invest, live below your means. Do not use credit cards if you are unsure you can pay off your bill in full each month. It's okay to fail. Nobody gets everything right. Do not be too dismayed if a major endeavor goes wrong, as long as you learn from it. Basic home maintenance. Chores, washing dishes, laundry, mopping floors, etc. Cooking. Exercise. Keep your body in good shape and you will be in good stead for your later years when your body starts to decline. Story 32. As a teenager myself, some of these people really need to learn some proper manners. Obviously, this doesn't account for every teen, just a lot I've seen. Story 33. I like failing and trying again advice a lot more than advice to knuckle down. Accept reality and get to work. The 20s are a great time to take some risks, chase dreams, travel, and meet different types of people before you get into dependence and responsibilities. Find yourself first, then find a way to plant some roots. Story 34. Learn how to budget and manage your money properly. If you do not eat fast food every day and avoid making pointless impulse purchases, you will be ahead of many people. Story 35. I don't think there's been a worse time to learn these things, but once you stop caring so much about what other people think about you, life becomes a lot more comfortable. Lowering your general stress level without becoming lazy in the process is always beneficial. Don't pursue goals because you think it's expected of you by others. Set goals for yourself when you're convinced that they mean something to you, regardless of what other people may think about them. And last but not least, try not to let yourself get carried away by stress and hysteria when it's not necessary. I was once hailed as a workplace hero because I carried a colleague out from a burning building in what was described as a nonchalant and carefree way. I picked her up and walked out of the building at my own pace. Shortly before she passed out, she had screamed, burnt her hand on a doorknob, and shouted at me with all of the concerns she had in that moment of desperation. I did nothing heroic at all. I knew the way out. I knew what I could realistically salvage in that situation, and I knew that running, shouting, and worrying about the worst-case scenarios would not do me any favors. So I picked her up and walked out. Everyone else had already gotten outside, which is something the other colleague likely would have noticed if she hadn't panicked. I don't want to come off as arrogant, but I think if more people knew how to compose themselves in stressful situations, they'd find that solutions tend to become more clear and easier to achieve. I also, personally, believe that being aware of one's own stress levels is conducive to good health. I'm 36 years old, usually mistaken for a 21-year-old, and other than COVID and the common cold, I haven't been sick since high school. I'm definitely an outlier in terms of being naturally composed, but I do believe most people would benefit from being mindful of when they impose unnecessary stress on themselves. Not taking things personally is another thing that a lot of people seem to struggle with, even people on Reddit who should be very used to negative opinions.